Hello, I'm doing today's devotional on John 2 6 to 12. Jesus' first recorded miracle of turning water into wine. Maybe you've heard this story many times before. If you have, listen again. Pray God's going to share a new revelation on this to you today. Now, there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them to the brim. And he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast." So they took it. When the master of the feast tasted the water, now become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first. When people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now." I'm a winemaker. I make my own wine. I make cheap wine because I'm not really a connoisseur. I think really good wine would probably be lost on me. Although I know the difference between my wine and a better bottle, if you like, bought. Um, but I make my own wine because I like to drink wine, and it kind of does the purpose. It's like I just want to have a glass of wine, or I want to share a bottle with friends, and it tastes okay, and it's cheap, and it does the purpose. But I know it's just okay. It's me kind of like saying, well, it just kind of cuts it, you know. Um, Here, what the guy is saying, what the master of this ceremony is saying, is people give the best first. So when people are sober and they know the difference, unlike myself, the good wine gets served, and then when people are basically drunk and they've too much to drink, they don't really mind anymore. Then we can get away with, right? It's an interesting one I'm going to follow on in a minute. We can kind of get away with giving the cheaper wine later because no one really cares. It does the job. No one really cares. But you have saved the best till last. Like, what's going on there? I want to parallel this to another one of Jesus' miracles, feeding of the 5,000. Long story short, Jesus turns 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish, into food enough to feed 5,000 men plus others. But at the end, the disciples collect up 12 baskets of scraps. Like, did Jesus make too much? Like, what was kind of going on there? And I remember hearing someone saying, using that story, that miracle, and saying this, that Jesus blesses in abundant, will bless you abundantly, but it's never wasteful. It's never wasteful. Jesus gave the best wine. He didn't waste it like the master. You don't waste good wine now. You give the poor wine. It's not wasteful. He gave the best one because that is his nature, to bless abundant. He doesn't do cheap. He doesn't do half measures. He doesn't do that will just do, that will just fit the bill. We'll just scrape through this. It's you give your absolute best in every situation. And I think for me that's the takeaway. And I get this wrong all the time. But it's thinking to myself, okay, well, if I'm preaching to 2 people or I'm preaching to 2,000, is my message the same? And I'm not necessarily your message because obviously it might be different. But like, do I give it more when I'm preaching to 2,000? Do I kind of say, well, I'm only doing it to 2 people? Maybe only one person's listening to this. Well, is it worth the effort? If it was 1,000,000 people I was speaking to, I'd put in so much, and I'd put in so much more effort. If it's just one person, I'd be like, oh, just quickly. Sorry. And I think the challenge, and still the challenge for me is, God, are you going to give your best in every situation? Are you going to honor people? Are you going to bless them abundantly with what is already your best self? Not half measures, but are you going to bless them abundantly, and God will never waste it? Now that could be in the sense of, if you're in the arts, I've heard that analogy, and you're doing a performance and it's 2 people. Well, you don't know who those 2 people are. Give your best. If it's in a business context and you've only got 1 customer, you don't know who that 1 customer is. Treat them the best. And I think it's just God's just challenging us as Christians just to really toe that line well. Be honourable to everyone. Give your best to everyone. It's Jesus' nature, and it should be ours. It's always a challenge to me. I hope it's a challenge to you. God bless, and see you soon.